Shalom,
Shalom, y'all here once again.
giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash.
So, I guess we could just build off the video that I did earlier today. So, what was your thoughts? Did it elicit anything?
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, how you made the point, like, yo, America's done. Like, there's nothing anybody can do to try and bring it back. Like, trying to get the corporations back to America, that is never going to happen. The companies would rather just sell themselves off or go bankrupt than trying to come back to America, because inevitably that's what happened anyway. Trying to pay for everyone's 401ks, Medicare, health plan. Women, they get pregnant, they need 3 months off out the job. You got to cover that now. They don't got to deal with that in other countries.
Right.
So America's done. This place is on life support.
Right.
There is no redemption. I got a precept. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 4. We'll start about... Let's start at the 8th verse. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 8. It says, "We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed." And this is talking about, the current state of Israel,
Yeah. The Israelites, which consist of so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, like we always stress.
Right.
And so we're the ones who catch the most help within society. That's why, like, people like us, people that come from our race, we're not really, like, too worried about, like, what's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because we never had shit to begin with anyway.
We was playing catch up the whole time.
Exactly. However, you see these Edomites, they over there losing their minds. They can't even fathom how it even got to this point.
Right.
How America's practically on its last leg, And like I said in the video that I did, these tariffs is really like one of the final nails in this coffin, really.
Right. All the economists said this is a terrible idea. There's no way this could possibly work. Like, they tried to foreshadow this, and they said there's no good that could come from it. They really can't understand the process of, like, the thought process of it.
And it don't logically make sense to implement these tariffs.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Especially when you don't make nothing.
Exactly. So, you really think that you're going to incentivize these corporations to come back just because you're putting tariffs on there?
Right.
By the time they get finished, like, let's say they follow what Trump's saying, all right, by the time they get finished and they end up having to pay all their taxes and their employees more money, they're probably going to end up paying more coming back here trying to listen to Trump than they would if they would have just ate the tariff.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to come here, you're going to go bankrupt anyway. You can't afford to pay all these people what you could pay them.
And then on top of that, it's not even the corporations that pay for the tariffs. It's the consumers.
Right.
It's passed on to the consumers.
That's with anything and everything. If a price hike goes up on an item, you think the grocery store is going to take the hit for that item? No, they're just going to raise the price to the consumer.
We pay for it.
Exactly.
But this guy's spinning it off like, oh, this is just growing pains. We have to go through this in order for us to achieve greatness once again. It's like, how do you not see through this?
Right, them days are over. That lets you know, like you said, like, this whole shit is, like, contrived. Like this is, like, wealth. This is, like, a thought out, like, implode from inside out.
And God bless America.
This is 2 Corinthians 4:10. It says, "Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Yahushua, that the life also of Yahushua might be made manifest in our body. For we which live are always delivered unto death for Yahushua's sake."
Mm-hmm. And us forsaking this world is, in a way, us being delivered to the hands of our oppressors, when the time is going to come. You know what I'm saying? Because once tribulation happens, once Jacob's trouble pops off, we're forsaking this world because we're keeping Yahushua within our memory.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not forgetting everything that we've learned.
That's what's going to keep us sane in the end. Remembering all the things that we learned and putting words to action. 2 Corinthians 4:11, it says, for which For we which live are always delivered unto death for Yahushai's sake, that the life also of Yahushai might be made manifest in our mortal flesh. So then death worketh in us, but life in you. That's the point.
Yep. So, let all this happen. I'm excited. I don't know what's gonna ensue after the 90 days is up, because he put a pause to the tariffs for the 90 days for the rest of the countries except China.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, that goes forward and get this ball rolling.
Right.
Because the way things is looking, this is it. Like, this shit is unsustainable.
And it's like it's never been so much clearer than now too.
Everybody's saying it. Like, every news, even mainstream media is admitting, like, yo, this is madness.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna destroy the economy.
Fox
What are you
News
thinking?
everywhere. This is it. And you could tell, like, there's no getting better. Like, just the whole vibe and everything in America is just over.
Mm-hmm.
You got a precept?
Let's see. Can you guys add 24?
Start at the top.
Yeah.
This is Isaiah chapter 24, verse 1. It says, Behold, the Lord Yahweh maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof.
Yep. And so, ultimately, everything you see, what it's gonna lead to is World War III.
It says, And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower.
Mm-hmm. So everybody's gonna feel it when this country goes through turmoil. Everybody's gonna feel it, from the citizens to the rest of the entire world, because once this country goes down, then everybody else is gonna feel it, because the U.S. is the greatest consuming nation. You know what I'm saying? However, what would you rather be, a producer or a consumer?
Producer.
Exactly. So it's much easier to, bounce back and prosper if you're a producer of goods, as opposed to being a consumer of goods. So these other nations is looking at it from the standpoint like, yo, we no longer really even need America that bad.
Right.
We're not gonna bow down to your tariffs. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, it's gonna affect your citizens at the end of the day.
Right.
So what you're doing right now is madness.
You need us. We don't need you.
Which is why these tariffs, it has nothing to do with, bringing America back to the top of the pedestal. It has everything to do with destroying the economy. It really can't be nothing else.
Right.
It can't be.
To implement, the MOTB.
And that's what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Economic collapse, and then the MOTB.
It only makes sense because it doesn't make sense to roll out the MOTB when the cash system is still functioning properly.
Yeah, because you know what else these experts were saying? They were saying how pretty much the entire world's going to shut out the U.S. and they're going to abandon the U.S. and turn their backs to the U.S. People here, they're going to have money and they're not even going to know what to do with it. They're not even going to be able to spend it because there's going to be nothing to buy.
Right.
And you're not going to be able to afford anything on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
because that's essentially hyperinflation.
Yeah.
Is it not?
It is. And like you said, like that video you sent me, no matter what rulership is in power at the time, that's how it all starts. The people, there's no middle class. You have the haves and the have-nots. And you got the people on the bottom, they're suffering so bad, they just want justice. So they're going to go out, pillaging places, rioting in the streets, trying to get justice. It's going to be the same thing here when you work 40 hours a week and your whole check is going to your grocery cart.
And it's already in a way like that now. Just imagine once time goes by, things progressively get worse.
Inevitably. So I'm telling y'all, like, we this is it, man. We almost out of here soon.
There's no way we make it through this man's presidency at this rate.
I can't see it.
There's no way.
And just even like like I be just feeling like the vibes of this place, like spiritually, this place ain't right. The people are over this place.
We've been over this shit,
Right.
but it seems like everybody else is starting to feel that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I get disgusted when they try to talk about or envision the future here.
Right.
They're like, oh, you gotta get this money, you know, and invest in your future. How? When there's nothing to invest in.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You see what happened to the 401k plans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that got affected by the tariffs. People lost thousands and thousands of dollars. So just imagine if you was on the brink of retirement.
Exactly.
And now you can't retire no more. You might have to work another 10 years
Mm-hmm.
just to try to get that money back.
If you are retired, that fixed income you was working with, Trump threw a big monkey wrench in that now. Now you got to go out and get a part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said in your video, in the lesson you did, you know, it's like working towards what? You can't afford certain things here. You can't afford a mortgage here. Like if you have a mortgage here, that shit is literally a burden on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not even something to be happy about.
Yeah, I don't like how people try to push that on other individuals. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
from my standpoint, having a house is a debt. It's a burden. You know what I'm saying? And the way interest rates is high right now, how could you even possibly really afford that mortgage?
Exactly.
You know, utilities, the cost of utilities is going up, and it's gonna go up once tariffs are enacted.
Right.
So it's like people are gonna have to make the decision between food or keeping the lights on. And nowadays, you know, electricity is tied to water. So if you don't pay the electricity, then your water is gonna be turned off.
Yeah, people, they ban gas stoves in certain places, so you gotta have an electric stove. So you don't have an electricity, your stove don't work either.
Yeah, so how you gonna cook? It could be in the middle of winter,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be raining outside. How you gonna start a fire? Do you even know how to start a fire? Do you know how to live within the wilderness?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where do you live? In inner city? Do you live in the suburbs? So there's so many factors. It's gonna get so bad to the point where people are gonna start protesting and rebelling.
Yeah. Isaiah 24:2 says, and it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him.
Right. And so he's the main man when it comes to usury. You know what I'm saying? Really the Amalekites.
Right.
The Amalekites, the small hats, you know.
Right.
They're the ones who have control over these banks, which give people loans to go out and try to get housing and cars and things of that sort. So they're the ones who make money off of people's pain, pretty much.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve, that's all them.
You know what I'm saying?
Because when you think about it, their whole system is to just lend out money at a certain, you know, percentage to where they make a profit out of it.
And the whole concept of credit is wicked.
Mm-hmm. You can't win with that
Because
system.
you know somebody doesn't have the money, and you know you got to make payments, so you're gonna charge some points on top of that.
Right.
You know,
I'm borrowing
interest.
it. Like, I'm borrowing it because I don't got it, and you're gonna charge an interest on top of what I borrowed. That lets you know America is through. Says Isaiah 24:3. It says the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord Yahweh hath spoken this word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish.
Mm-hmm.
Continue, or that was the point?
Oh yeah, that's the point. Yeah, the haunty people. So people that have been living it up for years and years, they're even about to start experiencing hard times, because pretty much how you get rich in this country is by providing a service.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're the service, you're an entertainer, or you have a business that operates, you know, servicing the people. So if everybody in this world or in this country is messed up and can't afford anything, then that's naturally going to have an effect on your bottom dollar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like a trickle-down effect.
I got a precept. This is 2nd Ezra 15, and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draws nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So, what this is going into a time of societal collapse when people just, stop regarding the law.
Civil War.
Civil War. And I was thinking about it maybe yesterday or so, about how, remember when we went to go see that movie Civil War?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, it's probably gonna play out like that.
Yeah.
That's probably what it's gonna come down to. You know what I'm saying?
I could see it, because when all hell breaks loose, ain't no food in the stores. You expect people, to just sit on their hands, go hungry? Like, nah, they gonna be running in your crib, taking what you got.
And this isn't even like just a country thing. Do you know that in Spain, they're complaining about the same thing? They was outside protesting about the cost of living and how they can't afford housing.
Really? In Spain? It's like that?
In Spain, bro. And they said that ever since the 2008 crash, things have, really gotten worse and they wasn't able to recover.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say that about the U.S. as well,
Right.
Technically, we've been in a recession for years and years. You know what I'm saying? The economy will go up and then it'll go down, it'll go up and go down. But one thing that's for sure is that the national debt has steadily been increasing, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And, the value of the dollar has been decreasing because they keep printing more and more of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just unsustainable, this system that we're under, which is why the elites is trying to put together not even try, they already have the plan together to implement the digital currency. But they just need a reason, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're going to collapse this whole system that we under now, and then they're going to bring in a new system. I mean, what we're witnessing, it can't be for no other reason why.
Right.
But
you got economists all over the world saying that this doesn't make sense. So what could it be for, other than to collapse the economy and implement the MOTB?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. That's all you had on that? Or
yeah, that's it.
This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 1. It says, "And he answered me, saying, The Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few."
That's a beautiful scripture.
Yeah, because when I was thought about it when I was watching your video, and people, like I always say, salvation isn't talking about heaven as in the spiritual world. There's something that comes after, World War III, and then the nukes get shot over in America, and this place is completely eradicated. There's something that comes after this, and that's the Israelites ruling the planet Earth.
Because once Esau falls and loses his power, that's when we gain our power.
Exactly.
Might as well get this now.
China's not coming in. Russia's not coming in to come pick up the pieces.
This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So, like I said, once Esau falls and loses his power, that's when the Israelites gain their power. And a legit question is, who's in power right now? Who's in charge of the world? Is it the righteous that's ruling? Or is it the wicked, Esau? And the answer to that is obvious. It's a rhetorical question.
Right. Are you happy right now?
Because you see so many people complaining and venting about how life isn't fair. They did everything right. They did everything by the book. They went to college. They racked up some debt. They was hoping that they can get the job to pay off their debt, but it's not happening because the economy's not expanding. It's really stuck.
Stagnant.
Stagflation is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, it's getting worse. It's getting worse and worse. Because you see people getting laid off left and right. So that's got to be discouraging to a lot of people when they sit back and see what's going on in the world.
Government jobs at that. Back in the day, you got a government job, you was set,
Yeah, that was like recession proof.
Yeah,
like,
you
couldn't really be affected.
Right. You comfortable. You got your benefits. That's pretty much all you. Especially Jake, you know, you get your government job, now you good. But those days are over.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Second Ezra chapter 8, verse 1 says, "And he answered me, saying, The Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few. I will tell thee a similitude, Ezra, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee, that it giveth much mould, whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world. There be many created, but few shall be saved."
Mm-hmm. Because when it comes down to it, only the elect are going to receive salvation. 144,000 and the 1/3.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be slim pickings in America. You know, you're either going to get beamed up or you're going to get laid down.
Mm-hmm.
So once the elect get beamed up from America, then they're going to go around the entire world and just take over.
Right.
You know, and even the other Israelites that may have never even gotten a chance to hear this truth, they're either going to come around to this knowledge or they're going to get purged out, like the scripture says. What is that in Isaiah? Purged out the rebels.
Mm. Ezekiel.
Yeah. Get that, and then I got a precept, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Mm-hmm. This is Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 38. Let's start up a little bit. I'll start at the 36th verse, Ezekiel 20 and 36. It says, "Like as I pleaded with your father in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith the Lord Yahweh. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh."
Yeah, because we're gonna be in the wilderness once America's turned into a wasteland and the elects come down off the chariots, the so-called UAPs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, we're gonna be able to take over, and Lord willing, we'll have that number of the elect.
Right.
Lord willing, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so, as for the other people, they're gonna have a choice: either get down or lay down.
Right.
And that's what it's gonna be. You know, believe it or not, the people in Spain, they were saying how they think that they would be better off with a dictatorship as opposed to a two-party government system.
Because the two-party government system is bullshit anyway. They're just empty suits. They're puppets. There is a dictator running it. He's just playing the back. You don't see him.
Yeah, and when they said that, I thought about it. I'm like, that's what it's gonna be like in our kingdom.
Right. And righteousness.
Yep, we're gonna have righteous kings.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a precept. This is Isaiah 66 and 19. "I will set a sign among them. I will send those that escape of them unto the nations to Tashish, Pul, and Lud, that draw the bow, and to Tabal and Javan, to the isles of far off, that have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory, and shall declare my glory among the Gentiles." So that's going into the scattered Israelites. You know, those that have been sojourning in other lands that may have not gotten a chance to learn this truth of the Israelites and who we really are.
Mm-hmm.
However, they're going to get the chance once the day of the Lord comes, because it's going to be declared who the one and only true power is and who the Israelites are. And it's not going to be like, you know, you're just completely ignorant. The world is going to be completely ignorant to the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be exposed to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Completely. You know, everybody on this earth is going to be set in order. Like, there's not going to be anybody in no country that's going to be doing things that they shouldn't be, that we wouldn't even know about. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't nobody gonna be renegade.
Ain't nobody going to be, you know, eating defiled, abominable,
Pork chop sandwich.
yeah. abominable foods,
Pernell.
things of that sort, committing adultery, passing wives, walking around naked. Because that's what they do in the Amazon. I don't know if them people still do that now.
Yeah, they freaks over there. You be seeing a woman just walking around topless.
Yeah, the Tainos, but technically they're Jake.
Yeah, they don't know no better.
But it's exactly.
Um,
So this truth is gonna spread. It's already spreading now, but it's gonna spread to the max
right,
once Yahweh makes his return, and we're getting close.
right there.
So with that, we gonna wrap it up.
I'm gonna end it on this one. This is Psalms chapter 4, verse 1. It says, "Hear me when I call, O power of my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame? How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing?" Selah.
The Most High got so upset with us that he compared us to like the other nations. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you guys is acting like regular people, then you might as well just be regular people. That's what he essentially said.
This is the point. Third verse. It says, "But now that the Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself, the Lord will hear when I call unto him." And you see,
That's the elect.
that's the elect, the chosen. You know,
Chosen ones.
so that's it on that.
Yep. So with that, Shalom.
Shalom.